Hey, I'm Bob at ILikeToMakeStuff. In the past, I've made guitars for myself, but today we're doing something totally different. I'm gonna make a guitar that's gonna be auctioned off for charity as part of the Great Guitar Build-Off. So since it's being auctioned off, it has to work, it has to look good, and I'm gonna try something I've never done before. Wait. Make sure you stick around to the end, because if you like whatever it is I'm gonna make, you could actually win it for yourself. So we got this blank from Crimson Guitar. It's a fantastic kit with a pre-cut blank, the neck, all of the electronics, everything we need to make a guitar. So we just have to cut the shape out of this. And we could just draw right on top of this piece of wood and cut it out, but I'm not exactly sure the shape I want to go with yet. So first, we're gonna make a template. So the sketch is done, and I think it looks pretty good, but one bad thing is that it overhangs our original shape of the blank, so it's bigger than what we have here. Luckily, I think we can fix that. So if you look at this blank, it's got the darker grain on the outside of both sides, and we're also gonna have a lot of dead space up here on the top that I think we can cut pieces out of and then glue them on and still have the kind of coloration of the wood match up. So I'm gonna take some of this dead space, cut it off on the bandsaw, and then glue it on. Boing. So after some work at the bandsaw and a sander, I'm pretty much done with the profile. I mean, the cool thing about this is the profile doesn't actually affect anything. So if you wanted to, you could just keep going and make intricate cuts and shapes and all this stuff, but I'm pretty close to the shape that I wanted to do. Although, some of the Explorer 2s by Gibson actually had some facets cut into some of these faces, and I think especially right here where your arm would go, that would be really comfortable. So I am gonna add a facet right here, probably using a turbo plane, and then just do some more sanding to get the entire thing nice and smooth, all of these little transitions to be really nice looking. After that, it'll be time for finish. The connection between the body and the neck actually looked pretty good, but it made me realize that I have to create a shape for the headstock. And I haven't even thought about it yet. I think I'm just gonna sketch on the back of it and then freestyle it on the bandsaw. I've got all the shaping pretty much done, we've got the body sanded down, and the neck is temporarily mounted. I'm gonna take that off for now because now we need to finish the guitar. I'm gonna use a similar kind of sunburst method that I've used before with slightly different colors, but before we get to that, we have to seal the grain of the wood. So this blank has an end grain on the bottom of it, and it looks really nice, but you can actually feel that open grain, so we're gonna fill that up with some grain filler. This is clear grain filler, but when you actually take the top off, you can see that it's not clear. So I decided to do a test with this just to see if it would actually work. So I got an offcut of this piece of wood to test on, and I put the grain filler here. It goes on white, and you can see over here I did not put that grain filler, but once you put a top coat, any sort of a finish on top of that white surface, it becomes clear. I don't know how it works, but it works. So with this as a test, we're gonna go ahead and cover this entire body with the grain filler. There is some white left on this wood, even after a light sanding, but that will go away once we put the finish on. So I've got this thing completely covered, I let it dry, and then I did a light sanding over the entire surface, and I think this is ready to go. It definitely feels a lot smoother than it did before. But before we spray anything, we've got to use a tack cloth to get rid of all the dust. For the finish on this, I'm going to use a 3-color sunburst. And the way this works is that you have an interior color, usually the lightest color that goes in the middle, you have a darker band on the outside, and then some sort of a fade color. The combination of those 3 colors is kind of up to you. I mean, you can have a red in there, you can have it all yellow and black and brown. There's a bunch of different options. We're going to use an amber on the inside, a brown as the middle, and a black around the outside. I've done this combination before and it looks really, really good. Basically what you do is you take your inside color and you completely spray all of the face. So you want full coverage on that color. You let that dry. Then you come back with the outer dark color and just kind of do a thick band, a solid band around the outside. And after that dries, you come back with that medium color and use it as a way to fade in between the 2 base coats. That fade can be as much or as little as you want. Some people like a really hard line, some people like a long fade, and it's actually pretty easy to do with spray cans. So the burst turned out pretty well, and there's gonna be a big pick guard that's gonna cover a lot of it, but I like how it turned out. A lot of other people have very different opinions about staining or painting guitars and how you go about that, and even bigger opinions about clear coat. I don't really have an opinion about clear coat. I just want something solid that's gonna last for a long time. I'm gonna be using this spar varnish that they use for boats, and if it'll work on a boat, it'll work on a guitar. So the body's pretty much done. Next up, I want to make a pick guard that fits kind of in this area. It's a really weird shape. And I have made pick guards before, copied from an existing pick guard that I had, but this one's going to be from scratch. I have a sheet of the material. This is a multi-layer material, so you can use it with the white side up or the black side up. But rather than cut this out straight away, I want to make a template, figure out my shape first, and then I'll transfer it to that. So I'm going to start with a piece of thin MDF from my laser cutter, but you could use anything. I'm going to put this underneath the body to make sure that I've got the area covered that I want. I'm going to trace the outside and then figure out a way to offset that in a little bit, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, so that I can start to shape the piece that's going to sit on the top of here. If I mount all the electronics, then I know everything is in the right place, and then the pick guard can just be cut around them. Maybe. Yes, let's mount some stuff. it turned out pretty good. Plays really nicely, sounds really good. And if you are interested in getting this guitar or checking out all the other ones, a part of the Great Guitar Build-Off, we're gonna put links down below. You're gonna get everything you need to know about the competition and everybody that's involved. It's a really good thing and it helps a lot of charities. Be sure to go check out everything down in the description. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. For the finish on this, this is a white thing that you put on, This is, it's a really good thing that helps a lot of different chariots. It works, cool. Thanks for watching everybody. I'll see you next time.